Okay. All right, we're live. Okay, you know what we need? We need like a little intro fade in thing. That would be good that we could start with. But instead, this is it. Fade in. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Watch It Play, the live show that we're prepared for to give you right now.
My name is Pet McDonald,
Right, and
this is...
I'm Rodney Smith. Okay, like this time, Pep wrote me. He said, "Hey, Rodney, I'm more prepared than ever. So when you arrive, we're going to be good to go." And I got here, and things were wildly different.
Oh, yeah. So you had to prepare for all the preparations I've done.
We've got a game on the table. I had no idea that we were going to be doing, and we've got like a new monitor behind us here, which is going to be helpful for reading comments, I think.
Yeah, I can see the comments by looking straight forward.
So we won't be like out of here. But what we need to do, first of all, before I go into full panic mode, is can you guys maybe? Oh, I see it right now. Thank you, Jared Kith. We do have audio, and it is working. And you guys are amazing. You guys timed it to start right after Dice Tower Q&A. There was a Dice Tower thing happening right now. I'm sorry, had no idea. I do try to be a little more conscious to make sure I'm not like overlapping if someone else is doing a live thing. But
this was good timing.
This was kind of last minute, a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
So what have we got here? So many things. Things to talk about, questions to answer.
Speaking of questions, though,
Please.
Before we get started, make sure if you're going to ask a question in the comment, put question in big, bold capitals before your question.
Right.
Because then we pop and we see them. Our brains just activate. So well, you already see a couple questions in there. So if you want to just ask again and put question.
You're doing it right. Yeah, if you've done a question already, we might miss it. So put question all caps, then your question, please. And we did get some questions in advance from our BGG guild.
Excellent. I mean, you have them written down there.
I do have them here. If you're not a member of our guild, why not join it? That's cool. It's at boardgamegeek.com. If you search for Watch It Played BGG Guild, it'll come up. It's also in the description of all of our videos.
That's true.
It's in all of our videos now.
It's in all the videos.
Because Pep went back and entered like a sort of our standard description ender into all of our old videos.
All 1,000 videos.
So thank you, Pep. Round of applause for that. That was wonderful help. Okay, what do we want to talk about here? I feel like I'm falling back in the groove. I'm coming down. I'm losing some of my panic. This is good. All right.
It was nice to meet you too, Kent. I can read the screen.
That's wonderful. Not Alone. Don't be reading it the whole time. Not Alone is a game that we have a how to play for video that is currently processing in YouTube right now. So after this video is over, I will probably launch it within minutes. This is a game from Stronghold Games, Stephen Bonacore. Always fun to partner up with him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a one versus many game where one person is kind of the monster on this planet. Everyone else are these space explorers. They don't realize there's a monster on the planet. They've been looking for life, and finally, they find it unexpectedly when their ship conks out and crashes on this planet, and suddenly you awaken to the screams of your fellow shipmates who are being attacked. So one person is trying to assimilate everyone into the planet. The other people are just trying to survive long enough to escape. Anyway, so there will be a how to play video for that launching. We finished our
Near and Far.
Right, our Near and Far playthrough. We had 4 parts to that. That wrapped up. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. People are getting their copies, their Kickstarter copies, and of course we'll be going to retail soon.
Yeah, I see tons of pictures of people with the game, and they're like, "I got it."
Yes, exactly. So we had a chance to sort of get a playthrough prepared for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy that. If you did have any questions, hopefully that will help answer them. This morning we launched on the Watch It Play channel the Tabletop Showcase trailer. So we had an announcement video that just sort of in 3 minutes tried to summarize what Tabletop Showcase is, what it's going to try to be. And so today was the launch of kind of the fun little teaser trailer about the specific game that we're featuring, which is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. So if you want to check that out, you can see that. It's got some nice little animations, talks a little bit about the content that we're going to be creating. Just a way, again, to sort of get the information out there that this thing exists. And starting June 19th, we'll officially launch. And that's when you'll start seeing the content roll out for it.
We'll make them some content they can't refuse.
Probably. Yes, and Origins is around the corner.
It is.
Yeah, I leave in less than 24 hours, so it's great I'm doing this right now.
Right, yes. It's funny, Ryan Fish asked if you will be at Origins this year.
I will be there. You will not be there.
I will not be.
No, but you were at CMON and I wasn't, so, I'll
It was
there.
an even trade.
Yeah. I'll be at Origins, and there's nothing really to tell you about Origins. It's a convention. There's games to play. What I mean to say is I will be at the Secret Cabal meetup. And other than that, I don't have any sort of real planned events. So if you see me kicking around, feel free to say hi. Love to say hi to you. And and maybe we can get a game in. I don't know. I try to play Origins fast and loose and not plan things too strictly. But,
unlike some other events.
Yeah, some shows, things are very regimented, and my schedule here is a little more loose, which I'm looking forward to. Let's open up a box, shall we?
Oh, I'm excited.
I want to get right.
What's in the box?
Very good. If you're not, it's kind of early for us. I mean, it's not really early. It's early for a live show.
Well, it's early for me. I mean, it's 11 a.m.
That's true. That's rolling out of bed at this time. We've got a box that came, I think, in like April or March. It's been a little while.
All right, it's been a while.
Yeah, and I was saving it because this was a gift. I did kind of sneak a peek inside. There's a little piece of paper here. I won't read you the what?
Is there food in there?
Just sneaking a peek.
How many months old is this?
I'm sure it's fine. This is from Benjamin Barton, who wrote a nice, I won't read the whole thing here. It's very kind comments about the show, and he enjoys it. And he received his Dead of Winter promos in the mail from our last fundraiser. And he wanted to send this little package as a nice little thank you again, additionally, for the content that we create. And he is from Japan. And I think he sent along some Japanese treats and candies.
Oh.
So I thought we could
Candy's probably fine a few months later.
Sure. So I thought we could just kind of dig in here, maybe sample a couple things as we do this. And thank you, Benjamin, for sending this along. I have a canker sore in my mouth, and so sweets are bad for that. So you might have to like.
Are you joking?
No, I'm serious.
I have to eat everything?
You have to eat everything, but you won't eat everything.
No, I can eat everything.
No, some of this is for my family, to be clear, and Lick and Christy. But let's see, what do we got in here? Ooh, and some of these things I want to recognize from Andrea, who was in Japan, and she brought home some treats. Pocky.
Yeah, I love
Pocky
Pocky.
treats. Why don't you open up the Pocky? Let's have a little Pocky.
Which
Oh my
flavor?
gosh, this thing is loaded with stuff. Is this a candy? I don't think this is a candy, Pep. So don't eat it. That is.
It looks like a little
In the bloopers of our near and far episode, you put components of my game in your mouth, which I.
Yeah, apparently you don't approve of that.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this. We've got some Calbee. I can't read. I can't read obviously what it says or what's in it, so it's all going to be a mystery. So we got some Calbee. Oh my gosh, there's loads in here. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you see everything that we got in here, but I'm going to actually I will just stack it all up here because there's just so much of it.
Pocky?
Sure. We're talking a little chocolate coating around like what is kind of a not a crackery type of stick. What do you call it?
Are we supposed to describe while we're eating? I'm just enjoying.
We're not going to turn this into a food
So
vlog.
good.
I'd like another one.
Look, there's like 100 in there.
I'd like another one. Thank you. Oh, very good. All right.
All right, that's enough of those. Let's do something different.
What up? No! Wow. What is this?
This really
This
think
looks
they are?
like, what is that?
So
weird.
it's a person wearing a suit with a samurai sword.
We've got a young woman popping her head out of a soda.
That's
bottle?
definitely not edible either.
No.
Oh, these kind of look
Strange.
like almost like cat treats.
Oh my goodness. This is from an anime. You probably know which one it's from.
One Piece,
Thank
Smokey
you.
D. Luffy.
I'm not up on my anime. Oh, we got some more. You know this one. That's that guy
Oh.
from that show. That is called.
Don't pretend
that
you
is
don't know
called
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. I've never watched a single episode in my life. That is a woman whose legs are detached from her body.
They probably aren't normally. I don't actually know.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know who this is.
Ooh.
Did you eat that?
Oh, what was that?
I don't know, but it's a really weird flavor. It almost tastes like chicken,
That's
like candied chicken.
no. I like chicken. We got a little pin here. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so much in here. Thank you for all the wonderful treats, Benjamin. This is cool. Oh, look at this, like a little sucker, but it's made of chocolate or biscuit or something.
Okay, stop opening things and start eating things.
Okay. Woo! All right. That is our candy explosion. Thank you for the kind gifts. People have always been generous to the show and sending things along. And it's always fun. It perks up our day. And our stomachs.
These are painful.
Yeah, I spit mine into the box. All right, so let's move on to the next thing.
This looks
I'll
so
move
good.
some of these things out of the way. In fact, let me just.
This will make it all better.
Okay, I have one more. Oh, all right.
These are lifeguards, soft candy. It's like a gentle lime, like lemon lime.
I was like,
But it's almost got the texture of bubble gum, but it crumbles so that you can actually swallow
very
it.
soft.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, wonderful. Let's move on to some more gamey stuff. Let's. Away, away.
Oh, you took the...
I'm just moving things out of the
No,
side.
it's on my lap.
Okay. There are obviously some miniatures set up here. We'll talk about those in a moment. But let's jump over to some questions. Let's start with one from the BGG Guild, and then we'll jump into some of the live ones that are happening. Beth Sobel asks, if you were in an actual escape room sort of situation, what 3 other board game media people would you want with you to help your chances, and why? All right, well, let's assume we don't take each other.
Okay.
Okay? Because I would pick you. But let's assume we don't take each other. What would our choices be? This is a tough one. I've gone on a few escape rooms with other board game media creators. I'm going to pick Rich Sommer. I think of him as kind of the all-arounder. Also, he's a risk taker. In the last escape room we were in, someone had to climb into a freezer and shut the door, and he just jumped right in. He volunteered immediately to go in there. So we need someone willing to do what nobody else wants to do.
Yes.
so Rich for that. Also, someone needed to beg and plead with the clue giver to give us the clues. And being an actor, he had some chutzpah there. He was really on point. He really, I feared for him. So that was, Rich Sommer, one. The second one, I would probably bring Suze. Suze is also a veteran of escape rooms. And I think when I've done them with her before, I found she was really good at refocusing the group. When we would all get kind of scared off in our different places and panicking and not knowing what to do next. So, okay, so what do we got? What do we need? Let's break it down and sort of methodical that way, which I thought was, you need someone there who's sort of bringing the insanity back to some sort of normal. So I think it's Suze for that. And then I would probably pick, this is the wild card one, either Jacob or Jeffrey from Maple Leaf Reviews.
Okay.
Because they are the kings of tangents in their podcasts. They do they will be talking about one thing and tangent off into something absolutely ridiculous, but connected. And I think you need an out-of-the-box kind of thinker in an escape room. You need someone who's thinking beyond what you see in front of you. So those would be my choices.
Okay, I'm going to try to go really interesting here. So how exactly does it work? It has to be board game media people.
It does. Listen, you didn't have the time to think about this like I did, so you feel free to go in whatever direction.
Go in whatever direction?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want Daniel Solis, because he just entertains the hell out of me and I love interacting with him. So I would love to be stuck in a room
if you're going to be stuck anyway, maybe that's a good way of looking at it. Who do I want to be stuck with? Okay, good one.
I feel like I also want Marty there from All Nice and Taking Names, because Marty's just a huge goofball.
I thought about putting Marty, because he's someone I'd like to put in a freezer.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he would be like, oh, there's a freezer, then
push him in, okay.
And he always has a thing of popcorn with him, so we'd have food.
You always have food, right.
Yeah, he always has food with him.
And moon pies, you're right.
And I think my last one would have to be Rado, because if I can't have Rodney, I'll probably just have Rado. And Rado runs through things, so he just run right through.
Wow, that was good. That was really good, Pep. I like your answers there. Okay, Beth, hopefully that was helpful to your curiosity. Jason Brown asks a question. We'll do one more question here from the BGG Guild, then we'll bounce over to our questions live.
Perfect.
Jason Brown asked, keen to see Alien Artifact on Tabletop Showcase. What games are on your short list? What games are on our short list? 0. Here's why. We announced Tabletop Showcase. It's been a year in the making, and we've been sort of really busting our butts the last couple of months especially, just to get everything kind of finalized and done and ready to go. And I would much rather launch the thing, get on the other side of it, see what the reception is like, see that, so we can look at it ourselves also and go, are we happy? What can we change? What can we improve? All of that sort of thing. And again, see what the community thinks of it and all the rest of it. And then start thinking, okay, so what's the next one going to look like? Also, we're only going to do at most two of these a year.
Yeah.
So we want them spread out. I don't want to do like The Godfather and then a month or two later be doing another Tabletop Showcase. That sort of breaks the spirit of this, which is a very limited, special little thing I'm doing with a few close friends of mine a couple times a year. That's it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Alien Artifact, I believe, is slated to launch Gen Con of this year. I think. At one time it was. I don't know now where it is in the timeline.
I think it might have got pushed back.
Maybe it got pushed back?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, like, for example, First Martians. There's a game that, in my opinion, prime candidate for Tabletop Showcase.
I agree.
But it's coming out in the next matter of months, right? So again, like a couple months. Too soon.
It's not going to happen. Unless Ignacy just can't get it released. He has to keep tinkering with it.
Then maybe.
Like, Ignacy, delay this game 3 more months.
So we've certainly had interest from people, and that's really encouraging, but we need to make sure we choose games that we are, all of us, All of us have had a chance to at least try in some form or another, even if it's prototype form, and we think this is a good game. And that just hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah.
we're not going to lock in for a little while yet. But thanks for the interest. Okay, let's go to the questions.
Let's go to the questions.
All right. I'll scroll them up here on the computer, and then we can try to read them off of the glorious monitor you've created here for us.
Well, I didn't make the monitor.
You didn't make the... Okay. So it looks like we only...
Oh.
we only have one question.
No, there's a little unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. Uh-oh.
Oh, did we lose everybody?
I hope we didn't lose everything.
No, it's still going here. Maybe the chat just needs a refresh. Let me answer the question that we have here.
No, we already did.
That's the one we be at Origins. Okay, let me reload and see if this comes back. Sorry, everybody. Oh, it looks like
much better.
I think it looks like some things have come back. Okay, here we go. Brad Skaggs wants to know, in one versus many, do you prefer to be the one or the many? In this game, Not Alone, that I just did the tutorial for and will be releasing soon, I actually really enjoy being the one. But in a lot of times these games, I don't like to be the one.
You're almost always forced to be the one. Because when you teach the game, it's so much easier to be the one.
I think that's why I don't like it as much. That's one of the big reasons, anyway. Also, when you're working with a bunch of people, then you have people to consult with and talk with, and when you're the one, you're very much alone and everyone's against you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it puts a lot of the weight on you. For example, if we're playing a one versus many game and I am crushing everybody else at the table.
Yeah. You feel bad.
You feel a little bad, right? And everyone starts to go, oh, well, this is weighted too much in favor of the one. Is the game not balanced or whatever?
No, I'm just really good.
I'm just really good. You guys suck. Or if they're all crushing you, first of all, suddenly no one's talking about how the game might not be balanced properly, and everyone's just fine with how things are going.
The balancedness is great.
Perfect, yeah. But then you're all alone, and you're just getting beat up by four of the people at the table. So it can, it's a fine line to walk. It's one of the reasons why Mansions of Madness, I think, has not reviewing, is how do I want to say this? It removes the one versus many, but the one is the app. It's the game running against you, right? So it solves that problem. But I do enjoy one versus many games.
Yeah, I think for me, if the many are completely working together, I would prefer to be the one. But if the many are like making their own decisions and like very much doing their own different things in different places,
right,
I would much prefer to be one of the individuals.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad. Great question.
Yeah, it was a really good question. It's a good one to start with.
Let's see.
I love this. Nestor Ivanor wants to know, have we ever tried each other's glasses on?
I guess it's happening right now. I bet you it's not going to seem like much of a difference.
I can still read.
I can't.
But it's a little blurry.
I think yours might be a little stronger than mine. Yeah, that must be why. Mine's like over sharp or something. I need mine back now, please.
Our glasses are pretty similar.
I feel like I'm crying. Yeah, it certainly looks similar, I think. Yours are narrower than mine are, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
All right. So that experiment over, never to be done again. Thank you, Nestor. That was fun. Robin, okay, this is great. So we always get a question, is this game better than that game? What game do you like best? Can you list your top 10 of this or that? One problem in those areas is that we just don't review, we don't talk about our favorite games, etc. So if you have those kind of questions, we love them. We appreciate that you're curious, but you won't get satisfaction because I do my very best to not review or to offer opinions on this channel in particular.
And you know what, Robin? Even if we were going to give our opinion, I think this is a good example of being one where I don't think I could really say either way.
Okay.
There's different things going on, and those different things make me feel very different.
All right. That's very close to an opinion. All right, so let's see. Michael Vanoy wants to know what game behind you has the best components. So it's sort of in the same vein. Best components. It's a little reviewy.
No, you said you like doing component stuff. You're okay with that?
Okay, let's talk about best components. I don't know all the games that are behind you here. Scythe certainly sits in there. You've got the collector's edition.
I've got the collector's edition of Takedo. Yeah, so that's got nice components too.
Is that going to be your pick? I would probably.
Yeah, probably Takedo.
I guess I would probably say Scythe.
But mind you, we don't want to sit here turning around. No. I really like the components in Archipelago, actually. It's got a lot of stuff going on. Archipelago? Archipelago? Archipelago. Archipelago, perfect.
Kent, you're absolutely correct about Strike being one of the most thematic simulators of gladiatorial combat available. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here.
King Domino wants to know, totally off topic, do you watch any sport?
And King
if
Domino,
so,
did you know you've been nominated for a Spiel des Jahres award?
You have been. I hope you win.
Sorry, you were asking.
So, what sport interests us? And have we ever seen any Aussie rules football?
I have not seen Aussie rules football.
Same.
The sport that interests me the most would be basketball, but I have not been watching since Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons and the Jordan and Scottie Pippen years. Like, I just haven't followed it at all.
Gibberish to me.
Sorry.
But so I don't watch sports, but if I were going to, I have watched a game of baseball. Like, I went to an actual baseball game at the Toronto Stadium. If I were going to watch a game, I would want to watch football.
Okay, there you go. So sorry, we're not big sports nerds, but it's something obviously very popular. AT Munn asks, question, do you guys have any tips for game designers? Well, okay, here's I don't have any unique special snowflake tips. I have just the generic run-of-the-mill tip. But the biggest one I have is playtest like crazy. Away from your local game group, parents, whatever. I mean, start there, certainly. Yeah. Start there, no problem. But when you start getting really serious with the design, I think go find some people who've never played your game, who don't care about your feelings, and just get them to play the game and see what their responses are.
Yeah, because even if you find a friend who doesn't care about your feelings, they might tell you they hate it simply because they don't care about your feelings.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Finding those right playtesters is tough. Do you have any particular tips? I have a couple others.
The big one I think of is, and it's something Eric Lang says all the time, is be willing to just throw your design away. Like, realize that sometimes you work on something and you get it to a point and then be like, this is good, but it's not great. I got to do something different.
I love that. Fail fast.
Fail fast.
Fail fast. I believe I've heard Rob Davio and some others, and Nina Meyer and them talk about that. Fail fast. Get your idea. Don't spend a lot of time crafting the perfect miniatures for your prototype or whatever. Do it on recipe cards or whatever. Get it out there. Try it. Figure it fails before you get super attached to it, and then start trying to figure out how to make it work just because you feel so invested.
Yeah, and don't think you can never go back to it.
Right.
Like, those same designers will also say, I've jumped back to something I worked on a year ago, pulled it back out. Like, maybe don't literally put things through a blender or a wood chipper, like, keep them somewhere, but just throw them out of your mind.
Don't throw your prototypes in a chipper. That's a big
don't
tip.
throw your prototypes in a wood chipper, unless they make you really mad.
Yes, then maybe consider it. I think those are a couple of good tips. I mean, there's all kinds of good advice out there.
You could have a whole tabletop episode about that.
Yeah, right. So hopefully that gives you a couple of...
and make your rulebook good.
And make your rulebook good. Yes, yeah, definitely. No pun included says, I bent down today and pulled something in my back. Am I officially old now? I mean, that could be one explanation.
Yeah, I mean, everybody pulls things.
Mm-hmm. Even young people can pull things.
Even young people.
So, you know what, Efka, you may still have the youthful vigor that you are concerned you lost.
I was in my mid-20s and I ran into a wall and sprained my foot. I don't even know how. My foot didn't touch the wall.
Why would you run into a wall?
It was a faster way of stopping than any other way. Let's not get into the whys. I ran into a wall.
It makes too much sense. It is the fastest way of stopping.
It is the fastest way to stop. I went from 50 to 0.
Chris Ledford wants to know, are you wearing pants? Follow up, if so, why? I always I'm wearing shorts.
I'm not wearing pants. No, and why? Shorts. Because it's really hot in here.
It is. In fact, this was a mistake. I wish I had not worn this long sleeve.
I just took I don't know if anyone noticed, but I took my socks off on camera.
I noticed, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to bring attention to it, but that happened.
It's done now.
Okay. Brad Skaggs, question. If you have any extra Dead of Winter promos, will you bring them to Origins so I can buy them from you?
That's a
Didn't
really
have
good
the game
question.
during the fundraiser. Possibly, maybe I'll make a note to bring some promos. When we launch our fundraiser, the Dead of Winter Rodney Smith promos, I'll probably offer again. So I'd rather I don't know if I'll have enough. Riding a fine line here. Don't think I'll be able to get more. So I get a little nervous about offering them during the year or outside the fundraiser. Not to mention, especially when it comes to people who just wanted me to mail them to them, it becomes a real hassle. Doing it once a year is about what I can manage because I do it all myself.
Yeah, plus it's complicated.
And by all myself, I mean with help from Pep and other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it is complicated too, because if it gets down to a certain level of amount of copies you have, you can't actually put it on the fundraiser.
Right, exactly.
Like you had the bottom of the ninth promo of me, for example, and you ran it in the 1 year, but you can't continuously offer that because we don't have massive, like we kind of have just a...
Exactly, and I don't really want to do like some kind of weird thing where like we've got a limited of 500 of these, so you can back at this to get, So anyway, I might bring a couple of promos. I don't know.
A similar topic. Can we spoil anything about upcoming promos?
Well, now that you asked me on the spot here. Okay, sure. We plan to have a near and far promo coming up. I won't divulge what it is yet, but we plan to have something for that. I'll hold off on saying some other things at this point. The fundraiser I hope to launch early July, and I want to do something a little different. It's still going to have promos. We're still going to be doing that. But I mean, there's a sort of a, how do I do this without commenting on? I don't need to make infinite amounts of money to be content. I don't think, again, how do I talk about this and not to make it sound like I'm talking about other people, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just talking. So I don't think the fundraiser does not need to keep making more and more and more money. It needs to make a certain amount of money so I can feed my family and pay my bills and do things. And if I have Pep working with me, that costs a certain amount of money. So I need to cover that. But I don't need the show to grow wildly beyond that. I want to live a comfortable life. I don't need to live an excessive life. So I don't need, I'm hoping to sort of set an amount, maybe even similar to what I asked for last year, rather than try to grow it. I always had in my mind, as the show grows, it means everyone won't, we don't have to have everyone donating 50 and 60 bucks to support it. Now they can drop it back to like 30 and 40, some of those people, because there's more people, everyone's sharing the burden of supporting the show, right? And we sort of take that, we relieve the burden from people, right? So anyway, I mean, not that of course I wouldn't do things with more money if I had it, but I want to try to set an amount that is representative of what I need,
$1 million.
Right. So anyway, so that's still being sort of worked out, what I think is reasonable to ask for. The problem is, if you don't ask for more, but you don't look like you're asking for more, do you send this message of, I don't really need your support?
Yeah, so you definitely still need the support.
I still need the support. But I want to find a way to not be asking for too much. I don't know how to put this. I have a live show. It's hard sometimes to get your thoughts as clearly as you'd like them to be.
I'm sorry. I feel like I escalated that cascade of.
It's okay. All right. Robert Boyer asked questions. See lots of figures in front of you, and you mentioned a guild. Do you guys play? I'm having trouble with this.
Do you guys play role playing like D&D? And would it be possible to play with you guys?
Well, the guild is a board game guild, geek guild. It's just a forum for us, for people to talk about who are friends of Watch It Play.
Yeah.
Pep Watt plays.
Yeah, I definitely play D&D. I would love so much to offer to like Skype in like people from the internet, but I'll be honest, I have a hard enough time getting my local friends together to play that trying to, like, they would be so upset with me if I were running other games.
What about our games, they'd be thinking, right? Yeah.
And the closest thing to an offer I can make for people is I like the idea of running something like Shadowrun, where you can just have people kind of join in for a session and it's not a big deal. Or even something as simple as they have a contact. They need to like call that person.
Right.
And so I could talk to you and have you like pre-set up with some dialogue or some ideas for dialogue. So they'll call you and then you'll be like, hey, it's B Skriz, what's the biz? And
I need to be in one of your role-playing games, Pep. I've decided just after that.
We'll call you and you'll be like, hey, it's Rod Spiz, where's the grills? I don't know.
Okay, so yes, Pep plays some role-playing games. I play some miniatures games, but not as often as I'd like. They're a little more time-consuming, but it's one of my first loves, miniatures games. So maybe we'll be talking about a miniatures game a little bit later in this episode. Let's go on to another question. Saeed, I can't quite read your last name here. Wants to know, Pep, does the near and far food taste good?
It's a little woody.
Woody or cardboardy?
Oh yeah, it was cardboard.
Yeah.
It's a little woody.
Yes, okay. That has trouble with taste. It's fine. He's taste blind.
Taste blind.
And colorblind.
Oh, Oh, more no puns.
More no puns. He wants to know if I'd review chicken. I love chicken. Chicken's delicious.
Chicken's pretty great.
There you go, Kafka. Done. Let's go on to another.
Oh
question.
no! Someone asked. Go up a little bit.
Yeah, rate your favorite snack in front of you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's this.
I've
one.
only had 2 of them, so
I think it's this one. Do you want to try? Here, I'll get you a little piece of this one. Do you want to try this one?
Sure.
This is really good.
Okay, Eric Burden. Remember, people, if you're asking questions and you want us to see them, all caps, question, and then your question. Have I ever been on Alboom? I don't believe I have. Alboom is a live show every Wednesday night, but it's usually late, and it's a live show. I don't know if you've noticed, but when I'm in a live show, I'm a little louder, I'm a little, and I can't, if I did that at home, my family would be upset with me. So
A little bit.
yeah, so I don't, I have not been on there. I'd like to at some point. Okay. It just jumped ahead a little bit here. I apologize for that because I think we just lost here. I'll look over here for a second.
Oh wow, there's lots of questions this time.
Yeah, everybody. Okay, keep them coming. Here we go.
Did we catch up?
Okay, Jessica Eng would like to know. Oh no, sorry. Saiful Mokhtar would like to know, Rodney, do you think Efka will ever do a live Q&A? I have no doubt whatsoever that he will do one. Jessica Eng, question. Would you do a game rules tutorial for Mage Knight? Although it's not the latest game. It seems that there'll be some players who would have trouble with the rules and stuff. Yeah, listen, that is a complex game. Would I ever
definitely talked about that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, when I first started the channel, it was a game that came out around that time even. And I remember some people asked, would you do it? And other people comment like, that's too complicated. He wouldn't do that game. I don't think so. I think I've done some complex games. I think that game would fit within the realm of what I would consider doing. I haven't done it though. It's just so many games, so little time. I still would say that would be a game I would consider. But there's so many games I would consider.
Yeah, and it's such a big, it
is a big undertaking though. I would definitely have to carve out like a big space in my life just to relearn that thing. Every time I play that game, I have to relearn it from scratch, which isn't the easiest thing in the world.
And there's so many different game modes too, and they all feel like they need to be taught, or quite a few of them feel like they need to be taught.
I would just teach the tutorial and let people kind of go from there. I would just do enough to get people up and running, I think, in that one, and then because there's, like you said, there's so much to unpack in that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, the Ricky Royal has I think the best video series I've seen on Mage Knight. So if you are looking for something, Ricky Royal I'd recommend. My good pal there.
All right, so Taro Vajah asks, do you feel better, or how do you feel about a better or more experienced player pointing out your bad moves during the game? Like saying, oh, you should have done this because A, B, C, etc.
Great question.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah.
Oh man, delivery is so important. Like how you tell someone that.
Oh yeah, if you're mean about it, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Right. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that would be a terrible delivery. I would not like that. And I think most people, that's kind of the easy answer. Most people, I think, would go, no, I don't want someone doing that.
Yeah.
But then there's even kind of the, like, lofty commentary person who's not like saying, oh, you big dummy for doing that. It's more like, I don't know why you would have done that. That's obviously not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of the...
Well, and the hard part about that, too, is that once someone does that, you feel like you have to explain it to them.
Right, you have to justify.
And it's like, I'm not going to tell you my entire strategy so that you don't think the choice I made is dumb.
Right, exactly.
Like,
yeah, that's
sorry.
true. And I mean, I've even seen I've seen people in games, sometimes before a game, they might go like, well, this strategy is the only way you can do this game, or this other strategy, this strategy's broken or whatever. And people will go, well, actually, that's the exact opposite of what I do. I do that thing you're saying you shouldn't do, and whatever. And then we'll play the game, and you'll do that thing and just win.
And it'll be like, this is fine.
I think there's probably something about in-game and out-of-game where you can probably have that conversation, and it's maybe a little less in the moment. Because like you said, there's a certain defensive reaction, I think.
I think saving it for afterwards is always good. Because let's say we get to the end of the game, and you really lost.
Yeah. I'm
pretty sure you're in a state where there's a good chance you're going to want somebody to say, oh, I think this might be why you lost. It's like, you made this decision around here, but wait for them to ask.
Yeah, I think you have to, like, sometimes after a game where I've lost really bad, I just want everyone to leave and go away. And no, I mean, like, it's
game night over.
No, just if I've really, like, lost, or I feel like, this things went horribly wrong, sometimes right afterwards is not when I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But, like you say, like, a little bit of time, or if I ask, I will say sometimes in a game, I want to know why someone did something, not to go like, why did you do that? But more like, I wish I could freeze this moment in time so I could come back later and you could tell me, because I just would like to understand. Like from a strategy standpoint, why was that choice made? Because maybe I'm missing something I'd like to understand better. You know
Especially
what I mean?
when it's you or everybody's first time playing the game. It's like, oh, I think they caught on to something. I kind of want to know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in general, you want to avoid being the person who's calling out everyone's bad choices in terms of how you perceive it to be.
Yeah, or just wait to be prompted.
But wait, wait to be prompted. Or listen, if you really need to talk to about somebody, go to BGG and post in the forums. I saw someone do this. Doesn't this seem crazy or something? I don't know. Maybe talking to the person you think was crazy is not the person who wants to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Anyway, interesting question. What else do we have here?
Racer Drago wants to know if we've ever tried an escape room.
Yes. Yeah, a few. I've tried 4. You haven't tried one yet.
I still haven't.
We have to make that happen. So short answer, yes, I've tried a few, love them, and so far I've succeeded in all of them. I played the Unlock Escape Room in a Box game last night for the first time. I played the demo version, but I played the full. Oh, got destroyed. 90 minutes it took us. We were playing if anyone's curious, we were playing I think it's the third one in the series, like the one's the most challenging. I accidentally presented that to my family first, thinking it was the second most difficult one in the series. I would never, ever introduce the most complicated escape room box as the first one.
I've heard they're a bit challenging too. I've heard people are failing at them.
Oh yeah, that
certainly was the case. It's good to know they're challenging, because in the other, like on the other side of things, most people that I hear going to actual escape rooms usually don't fail. I think I've only ever heard.
I think it's because they brag about it. Like the rooms will say the percentage is usually skewed towards more people lose than win.
Oh, but people who lose probably don't want to be like,
they don't talk about it so much. Yeah, exactly. But
plus, I'm guessing, like, I don't want to, gamer, non-gamer, but I bet a lot of non-gamers, like people who are just vacationing, are like, let's go to this escape room, find out what that is, and they're going to have a lot more trouble with it than gamers.
I think you're right. Not to be too braggy about us gamers, but I think we might have a few extra tools in the tool bag that maybe other people don't.
Because it's puzzle solving, right? And
games are a lot of looking at a situation and problem solving a strategy or whatever, right? So that's a good point, Pat.
Yeah.
Let's see. Question. Want to play Dungeon Run at Origins? Oh, want to play Dungeon Run at Origins? PHG Classic. That's from Cam1138A. I want to play all the games at all the conventions all the time. And I won't. No, I just mean like that's.
Yeah.
So I never, before convention, almost rarely do I ever say, hey, let's play this game at a con, because I just find it's so hard to schedule things. Because I don't want to be locked down to a schedule, honestly. I want to be sort of, oh, this thing is happening right here. Oh, I can't do it. I've scheduled the thing I have to go do. I have to go do because I scheduled it,
And especially something like Dungeon Run. I don't recall that being an extremely fast game.
It depends. Again, like how many people you have. That's the other thing too. Sometimes with a convention, it's like, are we all new players, or is it all experienced players? That is not to say I don't enjoy playing games with people at conventions. Just pre-scheduling them is. I have a couple pre-scheduled. There are some games I have pre-scheduled, but I just don't make a habit of it.
Yeah, I feel like if it's a quick enough game, like if I was at a convention and someone literally pulled out Jenga and said, will you play this with me?
Yeah.
Guarantee you, I will play Jenga with you on the spot.
Like I usually will try to have a small box game with me. BGG Con, Red 7.
Yeah.
Because then it was like, okay, yes, we can play a game, let's play this one, right? Because none of us are locked in for any longer than what our schedules will allow here generally. It's quick to teach, quick to play, and off you go.
Yeah.
But hey Cam, hopefully we can get a game in though. I assume you're going to be there.
It'd be really weirded out now if someone actually is carrying Jenga around. Jenga's such a weird example because it's a huge monster to have to carry around. So, I mean, if someone does it, I'm ready.
Hey, Pep will do it. He's ready for you. Okay. All right.
Oh, I like this one. So Robin Powell asked, because it's a funny one, but what is your favorite game with the word dungeon in it?
You're not answering that question.
I'm going to say Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, fair. Ken Parker wants to know, any plans to do another Geek Nation tour in the future? For him, this year is too hard to swing, but it sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Any plans to? I'd like to get one under my belt and then see.
Kind of the same as the Tabletop Showcase answer.
I think. Exactly. Right now, I'm currently a guest on the one for Essen, So if anyone's interested, go to the Geek Nation Tours website. You can find the Essen Tour there. I have a video for it as well if you want to check that out. You can see if you'd like to join us for an amazing, basically almost 2-week tour around Germany and then to Essen Spiel as well. But yeah, it sounds like it looks like it'd be a lot of fun to do, first of all, but also like quite an experience.
Yeah, definitely.
The gaming hobbyist wants to know, have we caught up with E3 at all? Have any games caught attention? I've not been paying attention at all. Been trying to get ready for Origins, and that's all my attention's been.
I have, and I feel guilty. I've had a lot of stuff going on too, so
Yeah.
I haven't paid any attention to E3.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some cool stuff. I think the Xbox new One thing has been announced.
It's not the Xbox 2.
I don't know what it is. It was Scorpion at one time, wasn't it? That was
Xbox
the code
Scorpion.
name.
Oh.
I don't know.
Get over here!
You know what we should do? We should play a game on the table here.
Let's do it.
Before time gets too far away from us. So what we always like to do before any live show is prepare carefully and plan ahead exactly what we're going to be doing so there's no surprises. So I showed up here
What we
today.
did.
Showed up here today, and Pep had set up a game on the table and said, hey, let's do this game, of which I had no preparation for. So, Pep, teach me the game. Let's play it. I'm sure it'll be fine. All right,
Let's go to the table, and we'll
table.
teach you how to play.
All right. Here we go. So, what game is this?
Welcome to the dungeon, Rodney. Speaking of games with dungeon in the title.
Okay, there you go.
I should have just said this one. So we're probably going to play just the one round of this.
All
but
right.
The basic idea is we'll pick a class. So in this case, we picked warrior.
All right.
And then you lay out all that warrior's equipment. And now you also have...
Oh, is that what the stack is? It's the character and their equipment.
Yeah,
Got it.
there's
Okay.
different equipment for each character. And then we have this dungeon deck that's full of all these nasty monsters. And they're basically just a number on them.
Okay.
And you notice these little symbols in the corner too. Those will actually match up to some of the items. And we'll explain how that works.
All right.
So what's going to happen is we're going to go back and forth, each taking a turn. So on my turn, I'm going to pick a card up from the dungeon.
Yes.
And I'm going to decide whether I want to put this into the dungeon and make it a scarier, more dangerous dungeon, which I will.
Yes.
Or the other option I have is setting it aside and taking it away from the dungeon to make the dungeon easier. But I also have to take away one of our equipment. So maybe I'll be like, well, the Knight's Shield gives the least amount of hit points, so I'll just take that away.
Well, why wouldn't you pass?
Why wouldn't I? Well, if you pass,
Yeah.
If you pass, the other person now gets to explore the dungeon.
So the round's over.
So
Like
the
when you
round's
pass, you then execute the dungeon.
Yeah, and you're sort of working together, but what you're really trying to do is like make the other person lose.
Okay.
So
I have played this before, but it's been a long time, so it's coming back to me now. So the idea here is this warrior is going to run through the dungeon that we collectively create.
Yes, exactly.
And at a certain point, one of us is going to go, this warrior is not going to survive.
Yeah, he cannot make it anymore.
I'm out of
passing.
here.
Yeah.
And now the other person is stuck taking the warrior through the dungeon.
And it's really fun if you have 3 or 4 people because then you get to.
It's really fun, you say?
Whatever. Because you get to have multiple people pass.
Right. Okay. So you have multiple people building the dungeon. So here, I will have 50% of the knowledge.
You have 50% of the knowledge. And the nice thing is, like, let's say I take this and set it aside. I know what this is, and you don't. So I have that extra little bit of knowledge of what isn't in the dungeon.
Right.
Because this is an exact limited thing. Like, there's 2 1s, 2 2s,
Right.
2 3s.
This tells us the exact composition of this and how many there are of each, and the little special symbols.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what symbol essentially defeats them. Like this torch. And let's actually
Let's
go
talk
through the
about
equipment.
these. Okay, so these
Yeah.
are equipment things that will help. So when we go through the dungeon, we'll use these to help us. Is that the idea?
Yep, so the torch will defeat all monsters with a strength of 3 or less. So anything with 3 or less, all 6 of these monsters will just automatically die if we have the torch.
Okay, that seems amazing.
The Knight's Shield and the Plate Armor are both pretty simple. They just add to your hit points. So right now our warrior has a combined total of 11 hit points.
Okay,
so it
he
can take
starts with
11
3.
numbers worth of damage.
Okay, okay.
So it could be like a dragon would hit it and it would still have 2 hit points left.
Got it.
Next up is the Holy Grail. It defeats all monsters that have even numbered strength.
Okay, sure.
Which is, again, quite a few things.
Yeah.
The dragon is this huge, nasty beast that's a 9. The dragon spear defeats it. So as long as we have the dragon spear, it's not so bad. And the last, and definitely not least, is the Vorpal Sword. It lets you choose a monster before going into the dungeon. So you pick a number.
Yes.
And anytime you run into a monster of that number, you'll automatically defeat it.
Okay, so let's just say we're going back and forth, and you pass, and you decide to remove this. That will defeat the dragon.
Yeah.
And I know the dragon's in there because
'Cause
I
you put
saw
it
it.
there, yeah.
Or maybe I think you put it in there, and that's why you're pulling that away.
Yeah.
I could then, I could say, okay, the Vorpal Sword, I'm going to say, will defeat the dragon.
Yeah.
And so then if the dragon comes up, it kills it.
And the next round, I'll take the Vorpal Sword.
Okay, okay.
But yeah,
I think I've got it. Okay.
So I'm gonna put that into the dungeon.
All right, so I will draw the next one. And I suppose if you had more players, then there's multiple people passing, and then there's more things being removed from like more of these accessories being removed from the dungeon. Or is it just as soon as one person passes, it's over?
No, everyone has to pass, and the last person who hasn't passed is the one forced into the dungeon.
Okay, so we might go a little longer, knowing that we'll have obviously access to at least 5 of those items.
And this is the very definition of a push your luck game, because you're going to be constantly removing your equipment. It's like I'm imagining it that you're in a bar at a tavern with this warrior, and you're basically getting him drunk and betting how little armor he can wear in the dungeon and make out. It's like, I think you could do it without your plate mail. I think you could do it without a weapon.
He's like, sure, I could.
I'll go in there naked.
Well, all right.
So you put one in too?
I did. That might scare off a few monsters.
Okay, let me take a look.
I think we're going to...
Speaking of taking away the plate mail, I'm taking it away.
So you're done?
No. Passing is literally your action. You would say I'm passing. This is just me taking a card away. So I would have to say pass. I don't even draw a card.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought when you passed, it ends the round.
But this isn't passing. This is just one of your options. Your option is either to put it there or to keep it away. And
so a third option is to pass.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I understand now. All right. So so we can actually remove multiple things then over the course of this. Oh, now I'm a little more scared than I was.
Perfect. Welcome to the dungeon.
I'm going to. Wow, you removed. So he's got 6 health points left.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put another one in there.
Okay. Ooh. I'm going to keep that in, but remove... Oh, no, sorry, I'm going to keep that in.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Okay. You're making up more...
Ignore me, I'm trying to cheat. Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right.
I thought about it a long time, though.
Yeah. I think that might have been the Dragoon that you just put in there.
Oh, no.
I think it was, Faf.
I don't think so.
I'm terrified. I don't want to go much farther, but I'm going to...
You going to keep one? Yeah.
Which means I pull something away.
You do. Oh, you taking the dragon spear?
Yeah.
I could go again. I'm definitely taking that out. And I'll pull out even strength.
Okay, you are nuts. I am passing.
You're passing?
Oh, I'm totally passing. Yeah, so let's just be clear for everyone. What we have left here is you will defeat anything of value 3 or less.
Yep.
So that's going to wipe out a lot of stuff in the dungeon, potentially.
Potentially.
You've got a total of 6 hit points with the shield.
Yep.
And your core strength. And then you can pick one monster at the beginning of this to remove.
And I will pick the demon, number 7.
Number 7. So does this get shuffled, or do we just reveal it in any particular order? Or do you know if I ask you a rules question that you're not sure about?
Honestly, I remember looking through the rule book that I was never entirely sure.
I want to look. I'm going to look while you think about this.
Well, I'm just going to flip the cards over so that this isn't...
Sure.
So first is the 7.
I'm sure someone in the comments is answering us.
So the Vorpal Sword, boom, that 7's gone.
That's the demon.
Next up is a 3. The torch defeats a 3.
Have I just given you this?
The 4 is bad.
That's right.
My shield's gone, and I only have 2 hit points left. So if this is anything other than a 1 to 3, but it's a 2, so the torch defeats it.
So you got it.
I made it out. Okay. I made it out with 2 hit points. And so when you make it out, you get one of these thumbs up, one of these treasure symbols.
Well, I just mentioned quickly, it says start by calculating your total hit points, add up the values of the adventure tile and equipment they have. Next, one by one, reveal the cards. It doesn't seem to say to shuffle there, so we'll assume you don't. But
yeah, and so if you ever get 2 of these, you win.
Yeah.
So if you win 2 dungeons, you win. The other way you can win is by killing your opponent. So if, on the other hand, this wasn't a 2, it was actually a 9, and I extremely died, I actually flip my reference card over to the red side, and then I have one more chance. But if I die while I'm on the red side, I'm now out of the game. So it does have player elimination.
I believe there is a welcome back to the dungeon.
There's an expansion.
Is it out now? I'm not sure.
It must be because it's on the box.
No, that doesn't.
The ad for it's on the box.
Yeah, but I mean on the Century Spice Road, the ad for the next 2 games are on the box, and those are like 2 years away. So
that's fair.
So it might be again in the chat. I am certain someone has already announced exactly.
I'm pretty sure the expansion's out.
All right.
But yeah, and then you would do another round. So whoever won would pick a class. You'd use the same.
So how many
rounds
would you typically do?
Just until somebody wins twice or somebody dies twice.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for showing us that.
Yeah.
Can we just push it out of the way?
Yeah.
Let's push it out of the way. Actually, while we push it out of the way, would you mind dropping down this camera while I answer some questions in the chat?
Yeah, go for it.
And we'll see how we do here.
Welcome to the dungeon. We got fun and games.
Gimelo, I'll just mention again, I'm going to Origins. Pep is not. He's not grounded. He's just not going. Tuna, thanks for asking how I am. I am doing very well. Thank you very much. Kent Parker wants to know, do you guys paint any of your miniatures? I do paint some of my miniatures. I painted a team of Guild Ball, 2 teams of Guild Ball miniatures. I painted a Blood Bowl team a couple of years back. I don't paint miniatures as often as I used to. It's just, I think I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist because I'm not that good. I'm not good enough to call myself a perfectionist, but I probably take longer on things than I should have. I'm just trying to paint and just kind of get good at through practice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I agree.
And you don't paint miniatures?
I've painted a bit, but yeah, I don't do it very constantly. Yeah.
So Cypher Mokhtar wants to know, sorry if we're mispronouncing your name. Canadians pronounce Z as Z and not Z, like British style. So why do you say Dragon Ball Z? Such betrayal.
Well, 2 reasons. Because I feel fairly confident that it's called Dragon Ball Z, and if you watch the show, they call themselves the Z Warriors.
Right.
But the main reason is I betray Canada, and I don't believe in Z. I think Z sounds ridiculous. So I actually do say Z.
I have to agree, although I will say Z on occasion. A, B, C, D, E. There's a lot of E sounds, so Z. To me, it feels like it fits within the family of the alphabet.
Plus, when you get to the end, it's like Y and Z. Like it's just awkward. And there's no zebras. I don't know.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong.
I just don't like it. So I'm with you.
Canada apologizes for our abuse of the.
We add U's to everything. I don't know what's up with that either.
I like that.
Well,
I don't mind the extra U's.
I don't want the extra U's.
I want you. Okay. Moving on.
Honestly, Andrew asked a question.
Hey, Dad, I'm in class. What? Turn this off right now. What would you say is the biggest challenge and victory you have faced with Watch It Played? Sending love. What's the biggest challenge and victory you faced? Wow, that is a question that love to get that in advance to think about that.
What is the biggest challenge you've ever faced?
It's tricky. I mean, because there are things that I would say are challenging about doing board game media content full time. It's that you're doing it full time. I mean, I think that is a challenge. But
especially in the start, that was a challenge for you, just getting the whole thing started, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge thanks for reminding me of that. The biggest challenge, honestly, would have been early on, realizing I really want to do this. This is something I feel is bringing together some great loves of my life: video work, teaching games themselves, and wanting to do it full time and knowing financially I can't do it. But I have to keep doing it, so maybe at some point it can be financially viable. And so the biggest challenge was my family supporting me through that time, and not just my family, of course, the viewers watching and supporting, publishers. Lots of people have really made Watch It Played possible. So that's why I say frequently, I always feel like a great deal of gratitude that I've been able to keep working on this show. And then Pep comes along, and Pep's been a huge help. And there's been a lot of people feeding into the channel. So one of the biggest challenges is being able to just work on it to the point where I can work on it full time.
Yeah, and I'm going to speak for you a little bit. Rodney is ridiculously humble about this whole thing, and every time a fundraiser comes up, he always says the same thing. This could be the year, it might not work. Maybe people won't donate money this year. And it's great because I feel like a lot of other people in the same situation would basically be like, of course people are going to throw money at me, I'm great. But you're like, this might be the one time that's no, it could be over. It could be over this year.
I really don't.
And I don't think it's ever going to be over, but the humility you have with the whole thing is
I don't take
awesome.
it for granted. I don't. Yeah. I think people could live without Watch It Played. But I hope, yes.
Not this guy.
I certainly hope people continue to support the show. Thank you, Pat, for saying that.
Jokingly, too, your other biggest challenge is probably getting these live shows prepared every morning.
I am, like Pep was saying, we need to record the pre-live show. I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm in a hot mess.
He's ridiculous.
I really don't know
why. And I'm just sitting here I'm ready.
I don't know why I can't get more ready beforehand in advance. I think I'll just say one other thing that came to my mind as a challenge. I think this is true not just of board game media, but I think anyone who's maybe an entrepreneur on some level, especially if you're passionate about whatever the business is, it's very difficult to strike the right balance between how much time you spend working on this thing that fulfills you with such satisfaction, and also all the other things in your life that also fill you with satisfaction, like your family and your friends and social circles and all the rest of it. I feel like I'm always working on the show on some level.
Yeah.
And so there's always that tug of war of like how much to the show and how much to the family, and how do you make sure everything's being done the right amount? That can be a challenge.
Yeah, no, I can really relate to that one, especially because it's like the more you start to enjoy something, the more you have to realize, well, this is still my job. If I'm enjoying my job too much, am I going to wear that enjoyment out? Like a lot of things.
I think the problem is going to like the Reed Richards analogy, like where he's like in his thing working on his latest experiment, and they're like calling up the suckers, like, I'll be there in a minute, I'll be out there in a minute, because I got to just finish this thing, right? And finding that right balance is important.
He's stretchy. He could still work while he eats. Just get some cameras set up. But the other side, what's your biggest victory though?
I don't know.
What was that one moment where you were like, wow, that really happened?
I really don't know. I don't know how to evaluate that. I'm sorry. To me, that feels, I don't know. It's a good question. I feel like every day I have to keep doing this is like another victory. The biggest victory, I mean, one of the things I'm the most happy about is that people do seem to watch the content, and I will get nice comments from people saying, hey, this game I was totally stumped. I was trying to play this game with my daughter, and the two of us, we just could not figure this out. And I stumbled across your video, and now I'm playing this game with my children, and we're having a great time. And that's a really good feeling. That feels like a victory of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it. Just feeling like the content has some value to somebody out there.
Yeah, it was really great for me too when I first started up on the show with you. And I think the first video I did, I don't remember what the first video I did alone was, honestly. Was it Gold West?
No, it would have been something before that. Maybe
something before that.
Eminent Domain Microcosm?
Might have been Microcosm.
Anyway.
But either way, the first time I did a video alone, and it's published, like, yeah, I'm working with you, and you're behind the scenes, like, making sure it's the same quality of content. But at the same time, people are going to go into it knowing that it's not going to be quite as good as what you're doing. You've been doing it for years.
Sure,
and it's my first
sure.
time.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that everybody was very quickly supportive and was like, this was really good, like, see more in the future. And if there was any negative, it was all like, hey, like, maybe improve on this, maybe improve on this.
Yeah, there was...
It's the internet. I thought there was going to be a bunch of people like, bring back Rodney, this is awful.
We have been, listen, I feel like we have been really fortunate. People who have come to the channel and stuck around for any length of time have been really decent.
Yeah.
Yes, occasionally we'll get the odd comment, but it's so minor.
Yeah.
And it's so rare. People are generally just, and when they have a criticism, it's expressed in a thoughtful, civilized way for the most part. And then it's like, okay, I can hear what you're saying, and let me think about that. Obviously we can't appeal to everybody, but people have been really decent. Okay. Andrea, thanks for the nice question. Okay. Board Game Haiku wants to know, will Pep be at HellCon? HellCon is a local, and by local I mean this side of Canada, local, it's about 4 hours away, Halifax convention. So it's kind of a sci-fi, kind of general, geeky kind of convention, but there is a big tabletop, like sort of board gaming element as well. I will be there as a special guest. I don't know if you're going yet or not.
Yeah, I remember we talked about it, and I think you said there was a possibility, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, certainly Pep's welcome to come.
I would probably go anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Brent St. Pierre says, will you play a game of Strike at Origins with me again this year? So now there's a question. Like, Strike, that's like your Jenga.
Yeah.
If you've got Strike and it's set up on the table, I will come by and I will play Strike. Yes, definitely. Happy to do that.
I don't know. I should have said Talk Woodman instead of Jenga.
Yeah, well, that's there.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk. What time is it here? What time do we start this thing?
Time 11.
Okay, so we got about 30 minutes left at most. I got to go back. All right, question: Pep, Canadian or American? Daniel McDonald would like to know.
I am Canadian. Thank you, fellow McDonald, for asking.
Okay, let's see here. The William Boutel wants to know, how do you feel about sports-themed games?
That's a good one.
That's a good one because we're not really reviewing specific games there. Well, let me just put it this way. We feature Guild Ball on the show. That's a sports-themed game. It's sort of like soccer or European football with a little extra brutality, but it's definitely grounded in a sports concept. Bottom of the Ninth is a sports-themed game. I have not played a game where they are trying to truly simulate a sports game.
Yeah,
aside from like a miniatures game, which feels like simulation, but
yeah.
Like Baseball Highlights 2045, it's definitely the theme of baseball. You got pieces, you're moving them around, but it's a deck builder. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would be looking for outside of something like Guild Ball that simulates where you're actually moving pieces around and kicking them. The stats relate to kicking and passing and.
The closest thing I can think to sports-related games is like Crokinole, for example. It's technically curling.
I suppose, yes.
It's sure. Really, in the essence, it's curling, and that's the closest to like a game that actually emulates the sport.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so I appreciate sports-themed games specifically because sports are games. And they all have structure. Like they have so much structure. They have stats behind things.
They're the ultimate dexterity game, aren't they?
Technically.
Yeah.
But so taking that and transferring it to a board game, it makes sense. It makes more sense than a lot of other things.
And theme-wise, I mean, if you're looking to bring people into the hobby, people can connect to and relate to them. And hopefully this comes back.
It's back.
It's back, I think. I apologize. I think we dropped some time there. I'm going to go down to the very bottom of the comments, unfortunately, just to see what we might have lost. It's probably thousands of things.
We have to just start reading up from the bottom.
Yeah, I think we might have to. Apologies for that, everybody. Hopefully we didn't. Okay.
It doesn't sound like people are commenting too much on it.
No, I can see it.
Oh, it's back. Okay.
We're back. We're backish. You're backish. Can you guys maybe, Gil, would you mind just in the comments let us know for the last thing that appeared? This happened both in this obviously just now, and in our previous live. We lost a sort of a space of time. And I assure you, we weren't time traveling, which is sad.
I tried. You're having echoes.
Well, there's always a little bit of echo, so I'm not sure if that's the normal echo or not. But Gil would know, so. Yeah, we have about 10 minutes left here before we wrap this up. Again, anyone who's...
Here, Ozzy, here's some Pocky.
If someone can let me know where we dropped off, that would be great. I'm sure people are just catching up. All right, well, listen, I'm not seeing a comment, so maybe someone will write it. The loop started when Pep was explaining why sports make for great board games. What?
The loop started when what? It was in sports board games?
That was a long time ago.
No, that seems weird, though, because people also said something in the comments about Warhammer, so...
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm not sure.
I mean, yeah.
That's a little terrifying. So what we'll do, since some people might have missed the bit on Warhammer 40K, I will go back and I'll take a look. And if so, I'll just bring it back for the next live show we do and talk about it there rather than potentially rehash it here. Okay, so let's go back to your questions. And I apologize for what appears to be a drop in our stream.
Yeah, definitely apologize for that. Let's just start at the bottom and go up to
make
it simple.
So that means basically no more questions because we won't see them. We're scrolling.
We're just, all those people who missed your questions, we're going to try to scroll up and get to them all.
Right.
And we're going to try to answer them fast.
We're going to try. So Todd Adair asks, question, what are your feelings about box games versus LCG versus CCGs? Okay, that's a little bit too broad. I don't really have thoughts across the board. I'd rather compare LCGs to CCGs, in which case I will say LCGs by a long shot. I'm not really interested in chasing games anymore. Opening packs and chasing it. Yeah. Listen, I played Star Wars Destiny, and I bought a lot of that. And I'm not going to comment on the game, but obviously, if I bought a lot of it, you can infer what you like. But that is not my preferred delivery method for buying a game.
It always sounds great. I love the idea behind it.
Oh, there's a high too. It's fun to like open things up and see. What did I get? What did I get?
Basically gambling.
It is. It's sort of like a legalized gambling, but then I find that wears off quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, basically for me, it's Magic or it's LCG. Like, it's hard to drop a new CCG and just hope that people want it.
I'm seeing like RIP live Q&A. You've got problems. Oh boy, yeah, we had some issues. Oh, that makes me feel sad. All right, let's see what else we've got here.
I'm very sad.
Question: Did the stream also stop for everyone else? Okay, Ken asks, when revisiting a game you haven't played in a while, do you refer to your own videos to get back into it, or do you do something else like just reading the rulebook? Usually some combination of both. I will admit, I go back and watch my own videos. I'll usually put them on 2x speed because then I learn the video. It's a lot faster than reading the rulebook, honestly. Or learn the game, I should say.
Yeah, I've gone back and watch and play videos specifically to learn games I've already known. And especially if it's a reasonably quick game, you can sit down with a group of 5 or 6 people and be like, let's just go watch the video. I don't need to explain it to you. Let's
just watch it.
Let's watch Rodney explain it to you.
Kabuki Kid asks, Pep, will you just do Star Wars Rebellion? Rodney is slacking.
I will. Expect it next week.
Stop it. Okay. Daniel says, when you started the show, what did you feel you brought to the community that others did not? Well, when I started, nobody else was doing, really no one else was doing gameplay videos for board games. And because this was, again, was before Tabletop and Will Wheaton's show started even. So no one was doing that. There were people doing it for games for sure, but not for board games. And no one was strictly teaching the games either. Some review shows obviously would talk about the rules, but they weren't sort of sliding in there with precision, expecting you to be able to learn the game from their video. So yeah, I think that was something that I brought to it. And I also pronounced card funny, so I brought that as well.
You brought the good Canadian mannerisms.
This was the worst possible thing for you to give me to put in my mouth right now.
Well, it means I get to read a question.
Right.
Sam Wisden wants to know, is there a theme you would love to see more of? For example, I want to see more Christmas-themed games.
Egyptian-themed games, please.
Oh, Kemet. What would I like to see more of? I want to see more ocean-themed games.
This is a good candy, but man.
It's
chewy.
so
chewy.
Just so we can describe this one, yeah. It's like a soft,
sweet.
It's like a soft outer candy, but then it's got like a crunchy bit in the middle, almost like Pop Rocks.
I would eat more of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Gil was wondering, I've ever chosen a game to feature and watch it played and then given up halfway through because I realized it wouldn't be a good fit for the format. It's too complicated to get done properly.
I don't think so, right?
No, the mistake I've made, I guess it did happen once. Forbidden Stars, I was like, hey, here's this game I played at Gamma, and I'm going to do a video for you guys about it. And then I dug into the rule book, and I was like, oh, the experience I had at Gamma, having it taught to me, this is going to require me to carve out a bigger space in my schedule than I have right now. Definitely doable. It's definitely within the complexity range of other games I've featured. It just wasn't quite what I was expecting at that time, and so it kept being pushed and pushed and pushed. So I think it's...
You never got actually halfway into filming or anything.
No,
I'm done.
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't even start scripting the game until I'd already played it enough times to feel like, okay, this is a game I want to feature on the channel. So that just helps me avoid that problem entirely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go up here. James Gregory asks, what game has been the most difficult to do a video for? I'll just say Stronghold 2nd Edition because the rulebook had a lot of errors in it. But that was what made the video helpful, I think, in a lot of ways, because then we were able to correct them with the publisher's help and make sure the video was a little more comprehensive.
Yeah, it's usually that one or the Gallerist that I'll try to bring up. And the Gallerist, especially because we did a gameplay for it as well. And that was difficult because there's so much stuff you kind of have to remember going on. And we were doing the solo games. That one was a little more difficult than a normal game is.
We had to think a lot.
Yeah.
It's a thinky game, too.
Yeah, like normally I'm okay if you screw up, or you're okay if I screw up, because it's like we're against each other, so it's okay if there's a few mistakes. But in this, we're working together, and we really don't want the audience to be like, "Wow, they're dumb. Why did they do that?"
That's right. Strategy-wise, we were very focused.
Yeah.
James Gregory asks, "What's your favorite art style for games? Minimalist, realist, whimsical?" Now, I would say I like all of them in the right cases, but you're forcing me to answer the question, so I will try to pick. I would say that most times I like realism, but I like it. Oh gosh, it's hard. I want it to be mostly realistic, but a little askew. Like I don't want it to look like a photograph, is what I'm saying. Like I like when there's a nice touch on it. Like,
you know what you mean, yeah.
Like I would think of Mansions of Madness. That is a game where the artwork, the humans, like they look like actual character stuff, but it's been stylized a little bit, right? Yeah.
My favorite art style would be anything Beth Sobel does.
Okay.
But no. So I think somewhere between minimalistic and realistic, probably. I'm usually not a huge fan of whimsical, but as you said, it depends on the setting.
Like this is whimsical.
This is kind of whimsical.
Like this is. No, it's definitely. It's somewhere in there.
It's not crazy whimsical, but it is whimsical, yeah.
It's hard, like, again, when I say that, you forced me to pick, because I love all kinds of different artwork. Look, we just played Near and Far. I love the artwork in Near and Far.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
How would you describe the artwork in Near and Far, actually, if you had to pick between those three? There wasn't et cetera at the end.
I don't know, I would probably...
I think it's minimalistic.
Yeah,
there's not tons of detail.
It's some kind of cross between minimalistic and maybe even a little whimsy, but like light.
Yeah.
Min whimsy. Okay. Question. Rodney, have you thought of letting your beard grow so you and Pep can do matching pictures? I've grown my beard somewhat, but I don't enjoy having a beard. So after a while, I just want to shave it off.
Yeah, I do enjoy having a beard, but I go through different periods. Like I let it grow out really full now, but I can't be clean shaven. I can't handle it.
Yeah, well, it looks good on you, the beard.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got
Your
here?
face looks good on you too.
Thank you.
You have a very nice facial structure.
M. Olson wants to know, ever played with a player who gets very upset if they make an error in their plan? We have a player in our group who gets upset and it makes the rest of the group uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can think of someone.
I've been that person where I hopefully haven't made people too uncomfortable, but I've made a mistake where I've been like, oh my gosh, what have I done? And it's certainly been depressing for me.
But you don't usually shut down. Like the person I'm thinking of shuts completely down. It's like, well, I made this one mistake, so you guys have fun playing the game. I'm just going to sit here and continue losing. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I think belaboring the point can be a problem, right? Like, yes, we know you screwed up. We've heard you now. The rest of us are still trying to have fun here, you know.
And the worst is if that person comes back and wins, because it's like, thank you for depressing us all for an hour just to come back and beat us anyway. I'm so happy.
James Gregory asked, would you consider doing a video for Lost Valley?
Oh.
I don't know.
Which one is Lost Valley?
I'm trying to remember. I think I know which one it is, but I don't.
I think I keep doing.
Can you look it up on your iPod?
Yeah.
While we're scrolling here. We are in speed mode. We are past time a little bit, but since we dropped some time, I will add 5 more minutes, and then I gotta go pack for Origins.
I can't help you with that either.
Ryan Bellinger said, do you ever think you'll make an appearance at Grand Con? With Tom Vassell and Z making an appearance this year, I figure you making an appearance might not be too crazy. Thanks. I'd love to go to Grand Con. I've heard really good things about it. I think for a lot of things, it just comes down to time and money. When I'm away at a convention, I'm not here shooting content for the show, and I need to be here shooting content for the show. That's why you guys watch, and that's why you guys support me. At the same time, I go to certain shows because either, one, yes, every now and then I need a vacation too, but also because some of the shows are good for the show. They are good for the business part of it, which I think hopefully is beneficial to you guys in the long run as well. So that's where I make those decisions.
I'm not entirely sure this is the Lost Valley they're talking about.
I think that that is maybe. And so I don't know that. It looks like a tile laying game with like weird, what's the rhombuses? Is that rhombuses?
Rhombuses, yeah.
Is that the rhombus shape?
Rhombi?
Or parallelograms? I forget. I haven't done Lost Valley. I haven't played Lost Valley.
Yeah, I haven't played it before, so.
I don't pre-announce games either. That's a hard and fast rule now because of that Forbidden Stars thing that we talked about.
James Gregory wants to know, what is your favorite gaming genre?
I probably lean a little bit more towards fantasy than I do space, for example. This is Warhammer. So there's Age of Sigmar in the Games Workshop wheelhouse, and then there's Age of Sigmar, which is the fantasy side, and then there's Warhammer 40,000, which is the space kind of future. And I would lean towards the fantasy.
Yeah,
but not by like miles, just like a little bit.
I feel like I really like space, but I think it's just because I don't play them enough. I have a very strange love for farming games, so I'm going to say Colonial, because that kind of covers like farming games and things like Caverna, which I guess is also a farming game. I feel like it's more in like a colonial kind of period, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot of Euro games fit within that kind of Mediterranean type of thing. Brett asks, what's your win-loss on Overwatch? Do you still play? I haven't played Overwatch in quite a while. I play like once every month, maybe. I get to. It's just been a really busy time with the show. And you don't play Overwatch, right?
I don't. So my win-loss ratio is great.
James would like to know. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's very even. James Gregory would like to know, how do you transport your gear when traveling to conventions? Generally, when I go to conventions, I try to travel light, so I keep just my camera. If I'm going, I'm not trying to make big video productions. When we go for the Come and Play days, okay, in that case, thankfully, I've arranged with them to supply the lighting for us at least, and the rooms, and I just have to bring tripods, mics, and cameras.
I actually have a really nice backpack that Bebo Game Warrior and I got matching backpacks, and they're perfect. They've got like a zip-off part in the front that has a little camera section. It fits all the camera and everything. It's got space in the back for a laptop. It's super really sturdy. We're carrying around feels like it's 100 pounds of gear, but it's obviously not. But you get the tripods snap into the side. It's beautiful, and they haven't been damaged yet at all.
That is one of the hardest thing about bringing gear is figuring out how to transport it safely, right? So
yeah.
So Sir, I'm probably missing some because now we're kind of in that rushing mode, so I might be skipping over things. Feel free to ask these questions on a future live Q&A if we miss it. Peter Evans would like to know, have you ever thought about taking Watch It Played on the road? Maybe tour several of the big board game cafes in Canada and the U.S.? No, I've never.
That would be really fun.
That'd be a lot of fun. I don't think that Watch It Played is quite at the point where, because I mean, obviously, again, doing something like that would require not being home, creating content. So why am I doing that? It would have to be obviously bringing in some value to people who continue to watch the show and or supporting the show in some kind of meaningful way. So,
well, one of my favorite things we did was like that, and it was probably one of the first times I was on the show. Do you remember when we did the road trip to Gen Con?
Yeah.
And so we filmed a good bit of that road trip, and that was a lot of fun.
What was it called? Road to Gen Con or something?
Road to Gen Con,
I think if you did a search for it in our channel, you'd find me and Pat. We would stop and talk about little things along the way, little goofy adventures we were having. It was a fun video to shoot.
So that'd be kind of fun, maybe like picking a convention like Gen Con and
doing content for that specifically. Maybe
even like let's say we took an extra 3 days at the start and actually drove all the way down, stopping at any game shops, any board game cafes along the way.
Yeah,
like that's something like that.
That could be fun. And as long as I felt like it was providing some kind of useful, footage or whatever.
Fundraiser goal.
Let's see. Keith Collins, the best person to do how to play for Mage Night would be Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules, as he designed an expansion for it. Yes, he did design an expansion for it. He knows the game inside and out. He's done a lot of work with CGE, and he does fantastic tutorial videos. So come on, Paul, get on it. What's the problem? You don't have enough free time? Paul's very busy. He's always doing a ton of stuff.
William Boutel wants to know, how do you feel the gaming industry has changed over the years?
That is not a end of the show question. It's growing. The games, in my opinion, are getting better all the time. I'm happy to see things getting more streamlined and yet still finding the depth of play. Like I think, sorry, it's not here, but Warhammer 40K, in the part that you missed because I think the video skipped out, the fact that they went down to 8 pages of rules, I think is not a bad thing.
And like the Song of Ice and Fire that's coming out, it seems like it has a fairly condensed rule set too.
So I think you can streamline without dumbing down, because we're not talking about the dumbing down in the industry. We're talking about more efficiency, I think, and elegance and all those sort of things that we like to say.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the just expansion of board game media, it feels like that's happening exponentially too lately.
Oh, it has, yeah. There's a lot more people talking about it, which is good, because it means more people getting the word out there as well, and more options for you as viewers. Like, I don't really care for that weird Canadian guy. I'd rather watch somebody else, and then you have that option, right?
Don't call me weird.
No, I meant me, but yeah, you're weird too. All right, I think we're about up to where we were, actually, because I scrolled, I think, and jumped a bunch of things. This is a good time to end. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Let's answer one more question.
Let's answer one more question. Kent Parker says, is the GameWire affiliated with Watch It Played? I've seen Pep on some of the videos. Affiliated, not in any formal capacity any more than like when I'm on the Secret Cabal Gaming podcast doing a guest spot.
Yeah, exactly. I just like to go and visit, and we'll film stuff together.
Yeah, so. Like anytime I'm around other media creators, I will often try to do a little something or do things. I think that sort of falls in the same line there.
Yeah, I agree. The one I really I like the one below by Patrick Moore. Is dueling now an acceptable tiebreaker in Canada?
Dueling?
Did you see the article about that?
Oh, I did see. It was now legal to duel.
It's now legal to duel. Yeah.
Well, that's what Canadians always carry a mitten with them at all times. Not just in case it's cold and you need to like warm your hand, but also so you can slap someone and start a duel.
That's
fair. Necessary.
And I have swords. I have the Shinai and the Bogan back there too.
It's clearly
we can clearly get this duel thing going.
Yeah. And I mean the mitten is because it's a softer glove too. We're Canadians. We don't want to bruise your face. So that's it for the live show. I think now's a good time for me to wrap up. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to get the Not Alone video launched so you guys can watch that. Again, we have a trailer that just released today as well for Tabletop Showcase and The Godfather specifically, if you'd like to see that and get a little excited about the content that we're bringing. Otherwise, I'm going to be gone for a week or so. Well, a week. Less than a week.
Yeah, less than a week.
Then we'll be back and we'll be doing more content for you guys to see, and we'll announce some of that content, I guess, a little closer.
Yeah, definitely.
Good? All right. Until the next episode, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
I'm so sad that we dropped some of the content. That's okay. We'll figure out this live thing eventually. And I'll figure out how to turn this off eventually. And it's going to happen now soon.
Lipton Brisk iced tea. Half and half. Iced tea cherry limeade. It's delicious.
Right now. And it's asked me, do I want to stop? Yes,
we do.